send a big shout out to all of my brothers and sisters out there in social media land. This is indeed a great day to be the Most High Heavenly Father made. We should rejoice and be glad in it. I took the liberty to tag a few brothers and sisters on this morning. One of our Kansas City brothers, he put a post on there I thought was quite interesting. I typed him a message back letting him know that I was going to use that subject matter in the next video. I thought it was pretty good. It gives us an opportunity to look at some other things. And I'm in my leisure time right now, so I'm not working. Probably won't start work up until probably toward the end of next month. So, so when I'm in my leisure time, I have an opportunity to produce a few more videos than normal. We have been going over the last sets of videos. We're dealing with marriage, and then we went directly into dealing with health and wealth pertaining to the things that we eat. But somehow or another, the marriage thing, it won't go away. It just won't go away. It keeps popping back up, and I'm sure it's for good reason. So I took the liberty to tag a few brothers and sisters, providing there might be anybody out there that want to ask some questions concerning the last previous videos, or even if they're not even had nothing to do with the videos. But yeah, and I was looking at Facebook this morning, man. He gets my day off to a running start. So, but anyway, the subject matter of the post was to the effect of this. He was almost saying, like, people don't know what real love is. And the brother that's responsible for the post is one of my young kings, well-known Kansas City brother by the name of Melvin Strong. Well-known brother in our entertainment industry. And Melvin and I, we go back quite a ways. We have a history. I used to do his sisters and them hair, and I also used to do his hair, and he used to help me out too with a few, a couple of times he was a model in a couple of the hair shows that we had. So yeah, and then before we get started, for any brothers and sisters that are onlooking, you understand that we don't deal with religion over here. However, we deal with a plethora of our brothers. We have our brothers, our Christian brothers, our Islamic brothers, and our Israelite brothers. And then a host of other people that believe different things. So we don't deal with religion. We deal with real life, you see? And so I always tell brothers and sisters, you know, I'm not at war with anything. You know, if you call yourself a Christian, that's fine with me. If you call yourself a Muslim, that's fine with me. If you call yourself Israelite, that's fine with me too. I'm not concerned about what nobody call themselves. I'm concerned about what's being presented in the life that we live in. And so whatever religious construct that you're a part of, if it's producing righteousness in your life, then have at it, because that's my primary goal, my primary concern. We still have vast majority of the people in the world are not associated with no type of religious construct, but they can identify with the everyday pressures that come with living life. And so those are the things that we try to go out there and tackle. Shouts out to you, Chidi, my big brother Chadwick Stevens. That's my big brother. It's my big Islamic brother. One of my Islamic instructors of righteousness here in Kansas City, Missouri. So many of you can see right out the gate what we're talking about, you know, about dealing with with religion. So I'm not dealing with no religion, period. I believe what I believe. And, you know, we never even had to tell nobody what we believe in order for them to see righteousness permeating out of our life. And so most cases when people wear what they believe on their sleeve, you can rest assured that, you know, it's not always, you know what the old folks used to say, everything that glitter ain't gold. So yeah, I remember the time that I'd be in church. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm still doing everything, still fornicating, still committing adultery, still smoking dope every day, still kicking it, you know what I mean? Still doing all the things that that should be changed. So you come to understand that me being in church don't change my life. You can be in the Islamic mosque, you can pray 5 times a day, still come out and slap somebody in the face, still come out and shoot somebody, still not be living up to the righteousness that the Holy Book exemplifies. So it won't be in what you say, it's going to be in what you do. And so our brother Melvin Strong came on there with a thing on today, and he said, and it kind of tickled me. He said, man, you know, people don't know what love is because when you find out what love is, you lose your desire to cheat. I said, ooh. I said, ooh, wow. That's something. That's something. But I tell you one thing, I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. And it's not to say that being in love with somebody changes your mind to the point to where you just you so head over heels behind the person that you'll no longer do these things. Shouts out to you, brother Steve, right? It's another one of my Kansas City brothers. So it's not like something gonna transpire in your mind that you so head over heels with a woman or a man that you don't cheat. I think that's the message that people was getting when they was looking at it. And so but here's what I wanted to add to it, because there are no perfect people on the planet. Everybody has a past, everybody has a background, and most of us come from a background of fornicating. Most of the men from fornicating one woman after the next woman, after the next woman, after the next woman, after. I know I myself been guilty of that. Many of us have been married and had extramarital affairs, one after the next, after the next. I myself have been guilty of that as well as a lot of other brothers. And you can genuinely love the person that you're doing these things to, or you can have that type of love that where it's a feeling. No, we're not talking about that type of love. See, that type of love, it changes from moment to moment. That's what causes relationships and marriages not to be able to stay together. It's that type of feeling, emotional love. So we're not talking about that. I once heard the old preacher T.D. Jakes say many years ago, maybe somehow 25 years ago, he said your love can only be measured by the sacrifice that you're willing to make for an individual. And that's the love that I'm talking about. And that's what made me identify with that message, because when you generally have a love, the first thing is that for all of my brothers that claim Christianity, my brothers that claim Israelite heritage, my brothers that claim Islam, you understand is that your first love have to be the Creator that you say that you serve. And see, and that love for Him causes us to be able to make the necessary sacrifices that it takes to keep a thing together, or to make a thing what it's supposed to be. In this case, let's just take marriage, for instance. It's not always the fact that you can be in love from an emotional place with a woman or a man. You can be in love with them from an emotional place. But, you know, like Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it? See, that type of emotional love, it vacillates. It goes up, it goes down. You know what I'm saying? And based on what type of things come into our life can also determine that. But see, when you make your love to the Most High, now you understand the value of the sacrifice that has to be made, because in any religious construct, sitting at the top of everything that's to be accomplished, it's going to be marriage. It's going to be marriage. And so you say, well, how can a man love a woman and a woman love a man, and then they can't stay together? Or how can a woman and a man love each other and, you know, and their marriage fall apart? Well, there's something missing, because where there's no sacrifice, there is no genuine love. Now, we start talking about genuine love, that genuine love that is to the one that we say that we serve him, that love for him causes us to be able to make the sacrifice when it comes to each other. So you can't say how much you love the Lord. You can't say that, you know, you blessed and you highly favored, but you can't dare make a sacrifice for me. You can't say that you pray 5 times a day, but in my moment or my hour of need, you can't come to my rescue. You can't say that you're an Israelite, you're the chosen seed of the Most High, and that we're all the children of Abraham, but in our hour of need of each other, then we can't find ourselves making sacrifices or being inconvenienced for each other. You see, that don't exemplify the that type of pure love that comes from our relationship with the one that created us. So we say this over and over again. Out of all of the religious institutions that we have in the world, when you look at the condition of the black family, which is down to about 15%. And when we say the black family, we're talking about a husband, a black female, a black male, and rearing their children up together, a structured family. That structured family is down to about 15% with all of the religious institutions that we got. The church is full of single mothers, no husbands. The Islamic mosque is full of men, no wives. Israelite heritage is all over the place. They ain't learned how to maintain the family structure by dealing with one wife, but they got a mind to have 4 or 5 of them, simply because they can see some of these things written in the book. Now, when we come away from our holy books, and then we look in this world that we are living in at the condition of the black family, there's nobody in their right mind that can't determine that something is wrong. And why is it? Why is it that if we love each other, we can't find a way to make sacrifices for each other or stay connected to each other? You see, there are no perfect men, there are no perfect women in this world. So how is it that we can keep hooking ourselves up with people and say that we love them, and then 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, you done fell out of love? Well, if you can fall out of love, then that ain't love at all. So anybody got anything they want to interject in there? Anybody got anything that they want to say or throw on top of that? Anybody got an analogy, a picture that they want to paint concerning this issue? I know my wife and I, we've been married for going on 20 years now. How did it happen? It only happened by sacrifice. Because I know what kind of man I am, and I know what kind of man that I've been. You see, and I'm a stern man. I'm a stern man. I'm a serious man. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean without confusion. I know what type of woman that I'm married to. She's just as stern as I am. She's a headstrong woman. You know what I'm saying? She's a woman that's going to voice her opinion. She going to do all of that. And you know what? She got a pass just like I got a pass. There are things that transpired in her past, just like it's things that transpired in my past. Over the years, you might have some of those things that transpire in a person's past to bleed through. You might see some similarities, or you might see some differences. But when you enter into a marital covenant, you understand that your accountability is not to the woman And her accountability is not to you. Our accountability is to the one that created us, the one that we say we love. And when our accountability is to God, Jesus, Allah, Yahuwah, Yahweh Shah, when our accountability is to him, then there is mandatory sacrifices that have to be made in order to keep a thing structured in the way that it's supposed to be. You got brothers and sisters that's, shoot, when I went through my first divorce, me and my wife, we was both in church. So now the flip side of that is that that's the personal accountability that comes through being married. So let me show you something. If I got any Islamic brothers on the line, I want to say that, you know, one of the greatest things that I've always liked about Farrakhan, Mr. Farrakhan, is that we have always attempted to find a way to bridge the gaps when it comes to religious institutions. And what am I saying? I'm saying that not only do we use the Holy Quran, but he also uses the Bible. He used the Bible quite frequently. Anybody that studies out of the Holy Quran, you would know that you can't go too far without coming in contact with the lifestyle of Israelites, because they were brothers, you see. And so when we start dealing with things, and we deal with things from the standpoint of our holy books, we don't want people to get turned off, because what we're dealing with is, we're not dealing with religion, we're dealing with real life. And even when we pull up scriptures, they will not be pulling up nothing that comes to assault the beliefs of anybody else. When we are in that position, you talking about love. How can we have love for each other when we are so easily divided and separated by our beliefs or our disbeliefs concerning particular things? Nevertheless, we are still brothers. We're still brothers. Ain't nobody gonna deny the fact that, you know what, somebody just got murdered last night. Ain't nobody gonna deny the fact. We're not gonna deny the fact of the killings that we see in the community. We're not gonna deny the fact of the drugs that we continue to see being pumped out in the community. We're not gonna deny the fact of the liquor stores. We're not gonna deny the fact of all of the fornication that's going on. We're not going to deny the fact of all the adulterous affairs that we're having in the midst of being connected to these religious constructs. We're not going to be able to deny those things. And if we do go into a place of denial where these things are concerned, then we become liars in the presence of the one that we say that we are serving. So I want to show you something just so I can build a point. And we're still riding on the back of our beloved young King Melvin Strong's comment about love. He said, when you really find a woman that you love, you won't cheat. And somebody said, well, that's not true. And to say that's not true is to imply that when you really do find somebody that you love, you can still cheat. Well, that's not love, because chances are you are still in a place of lust. Your mind has been deceived, because that's what fornication does. Fornication deceives the mind. So let's deal with that. Now, how can you say you love somebody if you can rob and rape them for all that they have? By not being willing to make a commitment or be committed to them. So to rob and rape a woman for her sexual goods, or vice versa. How can a woman be content and say that she have love when you can lead a man into a place that he ain't supposed to be in? That means laying down and committing a sexual sin against the one that we say we believe in. Because anywhere you have sex without no commitment, you have sin. And just point blank and period. You got two types of them. You got fornication and you got adultery. Fornication is sexuality prematurely ahead of marriage, and adultery is sexuality with somebody else outside of marriage. Either way you go. You see, so those things don't exemplify no love that we're talking about. So we look at this passage of scripture in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. It says, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. And we wonder why the family is so destroyed. The family is destroyed because of judgment from fornicating. Because fornication deceives a man's mind, he has enticed himself into believing that he is in love until, as it is with the woman. It said marriage is honorable in all. And marriage is honorable. He said, but whoremongers, God gonna judge. Yeah, it don't make no difference what religious construct that you come from. These things, they set in stone in the world and in the life that we live in. They set in stone. If you say that Allah Akbar, Allah is great, the magnificent, the merciful, and you can't identify with marriage being honorable and all, and the bed undefiled, and you fornicating, well, we got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. And you say Jesus is Lord, and I'm blessed and I'm highly favored, and Jesus paid the price for it all. But you can't identify with the fact that marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled, and you still climbing in the beds of women that have no commitment to you, and you expecting some good thing to come out of it. Only thing that's going to come out of there that's going to be good is the moment of ejaculation and the moment of climax. But then right after that, here comes the judgment. And you wonder why you fussy, you wonder why you fight, you wonder why you can't get along, you wonder why you got nothing mended and nothing merged together. You wonder why. And this continues to perpetuate itself. You leave one woman and think that you're going to get another one over here, and it's going to be better than the last one was. But you know what? All of it's going to be fine up until you get to the point to where you move into the place where you have that ejaculation, or that woman has that climatic experience. That's the pinnacle. That's the greatest thing that you're going to get out of fornication. But what comes after that is fatherless, broken homes, wounded women, battered men, men who refuse to, who lose their ability to trust in women, women that lose their ability to trust in men, children that are raised by social media platforms and video games, and a false educational system that have been the destroyer of our people for centuries. All of these come out of one particular thing, because we don't honor the fact that marriage is honorable. And as we said before, if you in any religious construct and you don't understand how honorable marriage is, oh man, I can't get married, I don't love them hoes, I don't love them hoes. Well, why you keep laying down with them? If you can't ever see yourself loving anybody enough to make the necessary sacrifices to blend something together and then start the process of building something great in this world that we living in, that the next generation of children can see and smile on and have a blueprint to follow after, what's the whole purpose? Is the grand sum total of a man's life just to ejaculate? And after all this fornication and took his toll, and judgment comes, and now the willie don't work. Now you got Satan involved, producing all sorts of drugs that'll cause a man's willie to stand up, but at the same time be destroying his health. All because we continue to enter into acts that are no good for. Let me tell you something, brothers. Marriage is gangster. It is the most gangster thing that you ever set out to do. Oh, you thought being in the street was gangster. You thought sitting in the dope house was gangster. You thought hustling was gangster. You thought all these things that had to deal with street life was gangster. But baby, let me tell you something. You ain't seen nothing gangster until you tie yourself into a woman and declare, come hell or high water, I'm going to get up and I'm going home every night. You ain't seen nothing gangster until you tie yourself to a woman and declare, it's over from here. I'm not touching nothing that's on the outside of this marriage. You ain't seen nothing gangster. Because sometimes your wife gonna go through body changes. Sometimes she gonna go through mood swings. Sometimes her love for you gonna vacillate from day to day. Sometimes she love you. Sometimes she hates you. And in the process of you going through that roller coaster ride, now you got to deal with what real love for the one that created you is made of. Real love is only measured by sacrifice. So in times past, where you would say, well, nah, I ain't gonna put up with this, I'm going to somebody else. You say, nah, I'm just gonna deal with it. I'm gonna deal with it. And now's the time that I can put the creator that I say I believe in to the test and enter into a place of prayer concerning my situation and pray for supernatural strength to be able to maintain this institution that he declared would exemplify his righteousness. Come on, bro. We need some men that'll stand up. If you're a man and you still chasing after skirts, let me tell you something. You ain't chasing after nothing. Them women keep setting you up. They keep setting you up and enticing you with their blinking eyes and with their short skirts and their cleavage, and they enticing you, and you follow them like a sheep go to the slaughter for some sex. We need some men that can stand up. Say, I'm too much man for that, baby. I'm too much man for that. Now, we've been made in this day to make marriage seem like it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to do. Well, I'm coming to tell you, baby, I don't care what they trying to make it seem like. Only real men can deal with marriage. Only real men. Because it don't make no difference how many women you can catch. The real test ain't in what you can catch. How long can you hold on to it? Can you keep what you didn't catch? Because every time you get a woman and you can't hold on to it, it becomes an indictment against you in your life to show your instability. Whether it's your inability to hang on to what you done caught, or whether it's your inability to endure things that come to try a marriage union. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled. That means that when I go and lay down with my wife, I don't have to worry about catching nothing. I don't have to worry about no syphilis, no gonorrhea, no disease. I don't have to worry about my willy not working. I don't have to worry about eating no Viagra, no Blue Chew, no none of that stuff, because marriage is honorable in all, and sexuality was given by the Creator to connect us in the spirit. But when you're outside of marriage, ain't nothing honorable about that. And we in a day and time to where we have made everything about being outside of marriage honorable. It ain't nothing honorable about it. Ain't nothing honorable about being a fornicator. I know this is tough. I know this is hard to digest. Because now you got to find yourself fighting against yourself. So when we start dealing with religion, it's you fighting against everybody else and what everybody else is doing. But when we start dealing with righteousness, it's you fighting against yourself and your own weaknesses and your own frailties and your own personal inability to do what the one you say you serve have instructed us. Let's go for women and men alike, because see, there are no women and there are no men. There's only man. God made them in the beginning, male and female. Said the two shall become one, back like they was in the beginning. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled. That means that the bed is pure. But he said, whoremongers, God is going to judge. And we telling you how the judgment is happening. Anybody that will want to go into a place of denial, when you had children by women that you ain't been married to, and that by women that you have not been binded and connected to in the house. Look at the condition of your children. I was married when I had my children, but because the marriage failed, well, there were character defects in my children that would have never been there if we'd have remained together as a married couple. Look at the errors. Look at the errors that the children have made because of your absence. Oh yeah, they've always had you for a father, because many of us fathers have been in those conditions and still remain connected to our children. But we weren't connected to our children in the way that it was supposed to be, where we could dot every I and cross every T. And in the absence, your children come up. Look at it for what it is. Look at it for what it is. God miss me with all that religious crap. I don't want to hear it. Marriage is gangster work. Ain't nobody got no perfect marriages. Sometimes I want to pick my wife up and throw her out a window. And sometimes she want to get up and get the heck away from me. I'm tired of you. You just get on my last nerve and you don't listen to nothing. And every time I turn around, I'm just at my... But something stops us. Something stops me from throwing her out of a window, and something stops her from walking off and leaving me. And it's not us that does it. It's when we think about the commitment that we have made and who our accountability is to. And coming from being a brother that have performed many marriage ceremonies, we always tell people, you know what? We know things that you don't know when you're getting ready to get married. So we ask you things out front. In most cases, when people get ready to get married, here's what we ask them. Do you promise to love, to honor, to cherish, to in good and bad, sickness and health, to death do your part, so help you God, forsaking all others? And you know what? People be so bubbly at that moment that, yeah, I do. And then we ask the brother the same thing. Hey, do you promise to love and cherish and commit and forsake all others and sickness and health and good and bad, to death do your part? And brother, I do. That's because they're all bubbly. They in the place of goodness that's leading up to something. They in that place. But they ain't seen the whole picture yet. You ain't seen the whole picture yet, because you done started off fornicating out the gate. Already mind already deceived. We just started out fornicating, so our mind is already deceived, and we so captivated by sexuality that this is what we want. I'm gonna marry her, man. Ain't nobody never did me like this. Oh man, ain't nobody never made me like. And we into the marriage. And then when we get into the marriage, we make all of these commitments to God, not to each other. Because when the preacher is asking the questions, he said, you promise to do these things, so help you God, so long as God helps you. That's the part that people don't get. Well, we promise. You standing right there before Allah. You standing right there before Jesus. You standing right there before Yahuwah. You standing right there before Yahweh, and you say, I promise to hold on to this woman, to hold on to this man, and to keep this sacred union connected in this world as long as you give me the help that I need. And we are snared by the words of our own mouths. Because soon as the turbulence come, we forget that our commitment was to the Creator, and we start looking at what each other is doing. How do you think the Creator feels? How do you think Allah, the all merciful, you know, how do you think he feels to have you make a commitment to him concerning the most sacred union in institution in the earth? How do you think that Jesus feels? How do you think Jesus feels? That you already declared that you promised to keep this institution connected. As long as you give me strength, I will do it, Jesus. How do you think Yahuwah or Yahweh feel when you stand before him and declare I promise. I'm going to keep this woman, I'm going to keep this man. As long as you give me the help through the time of turbulence, I'm going to do it. How do you think he feels? That's a question you got to ask. And how do you think he feels? When you have a mindset that you don't even have a committed bone in your body. When you have a mindset, brother, I ain't never getting married, but you want to keep having sexuality. See, what you understand is that God gives sexuality to the married couple for the benefit of building a structure in this world that will remain intact. That's the purpose for sexuality. That's the reason it was created, for the sake of reproduction. Do you think that God, in his all-wise counsel, do you think that Allah, do you think Jesus would give us sexuality that was made for the sake of reproduction if he knew that we wasn't going to be responsible by the children that came as a result of it? You know what? This real life over here, man. I see some videos out there with 10 million views. I see some videos out there with 147,000 views. I see some videos out there with 37,000 views in the first hour. But when we start talking about things that are real, we know it ain't many people that want to deal with that. How many brothers willing to have themselves challenged up against God's righteous standard while somebody is coming out of church and climb right into a defiled bed, a bed full of maggots and worms? Somebody just coming out of Islamic service, the 15-minute prayer, or after the third time that they pray through the course of the day, gonna climb into a bed full with maggots and worms. Go right back into prayer without even being conscious of the fact that they have shamed themselves and the one that they claim that they believe in. So, hey, listen, man, this is where the rubber meets the road. We're going to have to toughen up, because this ain't going to go away. This ain't going to go away. We got our Israelite brothers, only thing on their mind, thing on their mind. We start dealing with a young brother yesterday that's talking about in the new kingdom, Israel was going to have concubines and all of this stuff. And I try to tell these brothers, listen, do not get it twisted, because you can see it in the scripture. It happened, but it was not Israelite culture. That means that this was not something that Israel, all of the men and women in Israel just did or were partakers of. There were specific places and specific people that these things got carried out. And so brothers, well, you know, David here and old Solomon here. Okay, so you want to compare yourself to David and Solomon? Huh? That's like comparing yourself to Bill Gates or Elon Musk. Them people was filthy rich, and they could do things that the average people couldn't do. And people are concerned. You ain't learned how to deal with one family structure. How much more are you going to be able to deal with 5 of them? That's a question. Now, but let me tell you this. Having in there. Let's just see who the truth. We want concubines. We want multiple wives. We want everything. And the black family is down to 15%. How can this be? How can this be? 85% of the men and the women and the children are running rampant with no direction, no instruction, period. 85% of the black family is like a chicken with its head cut off. It is non-existent. See, some questions people don't want to answer. Because sometimes we got to look at our own self. I'll be the first one to tell you, boy, marriage is the hardest work that I ever encountered in. It's also the most productive work that I've ever encountered in. I've also seen the most beautiful things to come out of it than I've ever seen before. Of course, it ain't nothing like you being a man, a stand-up man, that's willing to do everything and go to work and do what you need to do, and then you can find yourself falling down, whether it be from circumstances or whether it be from the ghost of your past, can drag you down into a place to where it look like you about to be destroyed. And then that woman that you pledged your allegiance to comes and picks you up. Baby, don't worry about it. I got it. Don't worry about the money. I know you do everything you can. Don't worry about the money. I got it. I got this over here. Whatever you need, I got it. See, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. It got to be a beautiful thing for a woman to encounter hardship and bad situations and then be able to rest comfortably when that man shows up. Baby, I got you. I got you riding the walking, lock, stock, and barrel. You ain't got to worry about nothing. You ain't got to call nobody. We got this. See, a lot of times we don't even get to see the beauty come out of the union because we don't have the stamina to endure or persevere through nothing. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. Now, this leads me to the next thing. If you don't have a husband, sister, you don't have nothing. If you don't have a wife, brother, you don't have nothing. And I understood the context of the post when it's talking about if you love somebody, you won't cheat. But see, if you cheat on somebody that's not a wife, you ain't cheated. Because there is no accountability there. There is no commitment there. And this is the sad, sick place that we have fallen into as a people. We hook ourselves up with men and women that do not want to be committed to us. And then we take on this my man, my woman, boyfriend, girlfriend scenario, and we try to hold them to an accountability or to a standard of marriage without being married. And God don't honor that because God look at us as whoremongers and fornicators. So how you going to cheat on something that don't belong to you? Sister, how can a man cheat on you if you're not his wife? Brother, how can a man cheat on brother, how can a woman cheat on you if you're not her husband? Where is her accountability? How's she gonna cheat on you if you ain't on her husband? And this is why we got so much confusion out here when it comes to these relationships. And the whole time, children are steadily being born. Children are steadily being born. My man cheated on me. My baby's daddy cheated on me. Only thing you had was a baby's daddy. He didn't have no commitment, so he couldn't cheat on you. And no commitment gives him the right to keep doing what he's doing. You ought to be enough woman to say, no more. I'd rather live by myself because I'm going to be by myself anyway. Once you get through taking all my goods and you're going to run off and leave and go to somewhere, I'm going to be by myself anyway. So I might as well be by myself and hold on to my goods. So, you know, All that other stuff people dealing with religion, with the Bible, with the Quran, with the Torah, with all of these different things that they dealing with religion. Why is it that nobody wants to deal with the greatest thing, marriage? Why is it that nobody wants to deal with that? Why is it that when we start talking about marriage and commitment to each other and sacrifice to each other, everybody tuck their tail and run? I tell you why, because they want to fornicate. And once your body has become used to fornicating and you got a woman that's at home with you that you can just go dump in, this is the last type of message that you want to hear. And when you got a man that you know he's at your beck and call whenever you want to get your little panties wet, and when you know that, you don't want to, this is the last video you want to see. Because now God's word, now the one that you say you serving, is challenging you to be better than you've been. He's either challenging you to move into a place of commitment where he's involved, or either he's challenging you to shut it off. Now you can identify with the truth, but the flesh is horrible. And all of us have to deal with it. All of us have to deal with it. Of course, I ain't no different than no other man. I ain't no different than no other man. There are always going to be beautiful women. There are always going to be that. There are always going to be women that flirt. There are always going to be enticing women. And I'm always in the place that they are at. It takes a strength and a personal accountability to the Most High to keep a man from straying away. Plus, the older you get, your wife ain't going to always look like she looked when she was in her 20s. And now you're looking at somebody that's in their 20s and got everything in place. And if given the opportunity, they will let you walk right in there and have your way with them. What's going to keep you from going in that direction? It's going to be your accountability to the one that you say that you believe in. So, you know, I know it's an unpopular message because the world have popularized non-marriage. But guess what? Everything that's good for us that we don't want, somebody else wants it. So look at the boys. Look at the fun boys. They breaking their neck to be married and committed to each other. Look at the fun girls. They breaking their neck to be married and committed to each other because neither one of them produced the next generation of children. They're taking something that is purely righteous and turning it into wickedness. But the people that's carrying the books and the people that's going to the institutions and the people that's using the names and all of that, these people that say that they're the chosen people, that they're Abraham's children, that they've been washed in the blood of Jesus, these people have become despisers of the greatest institution that God put into the earth. And other people who God did not create it for, or breaking their neck to have it. When you hear about marriage on TV now, it don't have anything to do with a male and a female. Why is it that they so zealous about entering into a thing that God created that was great? If God created for the male and female to be the catalyst of his righteous exemplification in the world, well, what do you think is going to be and exemplify in the world when the wrong people get a hold to it? And so now you got the bathrooms in schools being changed. You got your kindergartens in first grade. You got curriculum in school being taught. Sex education between same-sex couples being taught. Now you got all of these things rolling out into the world, and they force feed it down people's throat, and it's explosion of that marriage. And it's being made to be a good thing, even though we know it's a wicked thing. But the righteousness of the Most High Where is his people at? So I'm not talking about, we got enough of his people that's just running around here talking on Facebook, talking in the world, wearing the robes, wearing the garments, wearing the kupi hats and the fringes. We got enough people talking and running up at the mouth. But where are the examples at? Where the examples at? Because them people out there, when it come down to being proud, they proud of it. And we talking about we don't love them hoes. Well, if you don't love them, maybe you need to be on the other side. Niggas ain't shit. Men are trash. If you feel like that, maybe you need to be on the other side. And believe you me, many are going to the other side. And they'll try to produce a marriage on the other side. Well, if you can try to produce a marriage on the other side of righteousness, why can't you try to produce and build a marriage on the side of righteousness? What's so hard about that? Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled. Well, let's go see. Let's go see. Ain't nobody gonna talk back to me today, so it's all good. It's all good. I talk to myself, and I keep encouraging them. So important for them to be married, not being adulterers and fornicating, and get their lives in order. I keep making the message and I read the message, listen at the message for my own marriage. Nobody got to talk back to me. Ain't nobody got to talk back to me. Yep. Let's go look at this. Let's show you how important marriage really is. Verse 24 of the second chapter of Genesis. This is why I love the book of Genesis. The first 2 pages was when everything was righteousness. And on the 3rd page, everything fell apart and everybody fell into sin. And when I tell people that anything after page 3 in the Bible is sin, or it's a result of sin. Brothers want to hold on to Torah. They want to hold on to the law. They want to hold on to the prophets. They want to hold on to Moses. But let me tell you something, brother. You would have none of those things if it was not for what took place on page 3. And when they fell into sin, all of these different laws and rules and regulatory measures came as a result of them being in sin. And people do not want to draw a line of distinction between before sin and after sin. It said, therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Everybody got to keep trying to change what God said. But God ain't going to change. You think he going to change his mind to please you? You think he cared what your forefathers did? You think he cared what the priests and what the scribes and what the Pharisees, you think he really cared about what they said? If what they saying was going against what he said? You think that you think there's some type of way that there is a justification for operating outside of what God said? You're fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself, brother. You're fooling yourself, sister. Ain't no operating outside of what God said. The man shall leave his father and his mother. And the father and the mother is the most important thing in a man's life. A man shall leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one functional unit. They shall become a family structure. That means that now, in order for a man to have his own family structure, he must leave the family structure that he came out of. And when we are children and we are raised up and we grow into men, we leave those things because now it's time for us to reproduce in this world the same thing that we came out of. He'll leave his father and his mother and he cleaves. To cleave is to be binded. To cleave is to be bound to something. I ain't in no popularity contest. I ain't got to worry about nobody not giving me no tithes. I ain't got to worry about nobody not wanting to write me no check. What I do purely because that's what the Most High put in me. And it's also what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. So the message is, they ain't got nothing to do with popularity. They ain't got nothing to do with appeasing how nobody feel, how nobody think. Many of my Kansas City brothers, they're just now coming in contact. I have almost 1,000 videos on YouTube, and I have been doing these broadcasts for years. And we have been all over the country dealing with brothers and sisters all over the place. But my Kansas City brothers are the last brothers and sisters that are finding out this is what I do. They'll come over there for a minute and then you think when I see them in the club, I ain't talking about this. Because everything, there's an arena for everything. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't persuading nobody about nothing. I ain't trying to persuade nobody to come to my church because I ain't got one. I ain't persuading nobody to come to my Islamic mosque because I ain't got one. I ain't trying to persuade nobody to be a part of my Israelite camp because I don't have one. But what I do have is this whole world as a vineyard. Our job is to go out into the world and exemplify the Most High's righteousness. And one of the greatest ways that can be done is when you consistently see a man 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, and you still see a man with that same woman. And you ain't got no women out there talking about, yeah, girl, I had him. Yeah, girl, I had him. And yeah, girl. And you can't find that type of stuff on the individual. You talking about exemplifying the Most High's righteousness in this world in ways that go way past what you would think. And it is also another exemplification of righteousness when it comes to the people that have been married by me. It becomes exemplification of righteousness to my brothers and to my sisters who are married. And to my children, I would tell them, as long as you see me and Sweetie Pie still flowing together, you ain't got no excuse. Go do what we do. Go get in the closet and pray about it. Ain't no marriage is perfect. I got a brother that been with his wife for 40-something years. I got another, my oldest brother been with his wife for almost 30 years. My cousin that hangs with me been with his wife for almost 35 years. And we've been in all the clubs and all over the place and all the events and everything. We've been right there where they all are. We've been right there with the wayward sisters, with the promiscuous sisters, with the harlots, with the strippers. We've been right there with all of them. And our brothers. But our brothers ain't seen us crack up under the pressure of adultery or fornication. Not in this hour. There was a time to where I didn't have no stamina. I was married. And you wouldn't have knew it. Because I was chasing and following after every skirt that opened up their legs. That breeds destruction. It breeds destruction, and it breeds a bad name because you exemplify characterlessness. And you can be a brother out here, and you can have status in the street, and you can have money, and you can have nice rides, and you can have the respect of people, and you can be a characterless man in the eyes of God. You can be a man that God can't put 2 cents of a bet on because he know that you're going to fail. And you can have everybody out here praising you, everybody out here praising you, and have absolutely no character whatsoever, whispering in another woman's ear, another man's woman at that, trying to slide up under another man's wife. Falling as a victim to another man, trying to capture or captivate the attention of another woman's husband. And that's you. Want something that don't belong to you. Want to become a destroyer of something great that God put in the earth. And you want to become you're on a search and destroy mission. And the whole while going to church. Going to church and tipping with the pastor, tipping with the deacon. Deacon going to church and cheating with one of the members. Preacher cheating with one of the members. All the while claiming that you're God's child. Going to the Islamic mosque. Shout Allah Akbar in a New York minute. Pray 5 times a day and trying to captivate the attention of another man's wife. Man, let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real. Because when we look at the condition that the black family is in, baby, let me tell you something. If we think that we're going to slide our way past this condition that we in because of our refusal to do right by the Most High when it comes to doing right by each other, we are sadly mistaken. We're sadly mistaken. And you have deceived your own self. Might as well throw your Bible out the window. Might as well throw your Quran out the window and lock the door of the Islamic mosque. Close the church down. Close the Israelite camps down and every other thing that got anything to do with Israelite heritage if we can't get this family structure like it's supposed to be. It's the greatest institution that God ever put in the world. No wonder why they're on a search and destroy mission. To kill it. All for what? An explosion? 10, 15 minutes of pleasure? You never seen it. Nasty and dirty and filthy is a man lying with a woman that he has no commitment with. She lied with 10 other men before you got there. 10 other men have exploded in her vagina, exploded in her mouth, and ripped her behind all apart. And here you go, lying down with it. Still got the stitch of other men rotting away on her insides. And there you go, putting your tongue in places that other men's penises and sperm have been in. Filthy, nasty, dirty, getting up with stinging penises, spraying out blood when you go to use the bathroom, got itching things on you that you can't see, got you scratching and itching, got to go to the health department. Every time you turn around, you see brothers in there that you know that have fallen victim to the same thing. Sisters the same way. Same way. Here you let a man come and take his willy He just had his Willie and 10 other women. Don't even know where them women came from, what they've been a part of, how many people that they've been in, and now you got the Willie in your mouth. Filthy, nasty, dirty. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled. The bed is undefiled in marriage. But when you climb into a bed and there's no marriage, it's like you climbing into a bed that a dump truck, a trash, a death and ball garbage truck just bagged up and dumped all of its contents in the bed. Problem is that you can't see it. The bed is defiled with all kinds of rottenness and raggedness and filthiness, and you go crawling up in there. Imagine if you seen a trash can. You seen a trash can outside the back of one of them restaurants, or outside where it's dirty diapers and everything, and all that trash is in the bed. You gonna tell me, I don't care how beautiful the woman was that was lying up in there on piles of trash, would you go crawl up in there? Oh, she's fine. Oh, he's fine. He laying up in there on all this triflingness, all this trash, and here you go. Well, you can't see it. You can't see the defilement that comes from being in a defiled bed, but you can feel it. You can feel it through STDs and chlamydia and AIDS and all of these different things. You can't see these things, but they are there. And that's going to be your reward. Judgment. Nobody can change where people been. We can't change where you've been, sister. We can't change where you've been and what you've been through. But you can change where you're going and who you're going to go through it with. We can't change where you've been, brother, and what you've been through. But you can change where you're going and who you're going to go through it with. You can change that. You can change that. See? To all of our brothers and sisters out there that are married, just you know that you are the modern day gangsters in this world, because you have fought and become victorious over all sorts of things that have come against your marriage. You have fought against wayward women and wayward men and become victorious. You have fought against financial impoverishment and things of that nature. You have fought against the governmental things that come against a married couple. You have fought through all sorts of things and still maintain, still able to stand there and be intact. Destroy everything, take everything away from me, but as long as we got each other, we're going to get it back, because two is better than one. Because for one, they get a greater return for the work that they do together. And two is better than one, because if one falls down, there's another to help them up. But woe unto the man, woe unto the woman who is by themselves when they fall down. Two is better than one, because if they freeze it, they can both lie together and generate heat with each other. If you're a married couple, you are standing on the top of everything that could ever be accomplished in this world and in this life. If you're a married couple, no matter what you're going through or what you're dealing with, you have been the shining portrait of God's righteous exemplification in this earth that generations to come can look at as a blueprint. If you are married and you maintain in your marriage, you are the gangsters of this world. And I'm not talking about no two fun boys being married, because that's not marriage. And I'm not talking about no two fun girls being married, because that's not marriage neither. And I don't have no problem with the fun boys or the fun girls, because I know many of them in the life that I'm living, and gonna treat them with respect and gonna love them as people. But when it comes to God's righteous institution in this earth, there's a line that's drawn in the sand that we don't tamper with. I don't care what kind of laws that Joe Biden and Barack Obama passed. I don't care what kind of laws that your state and local governments pass. You can pass all these laws and make it a bad thing for a heterosexual male and a female to be married. And then you'll make it a good thing for somebody that cannot reproduce or procreate to be married. This world is twisted around backwards, and until we get to the point to where we're willing to stand up straight and be real men, don't tell me nothing about what you believe in, whose child you are, and what you serve, when you don't have a backbone to stand up straight and be a man and declare what's right in the eyes of the Most High. You ain't got no backbone to stand up and declare to a woman that fornication is against God. You keep your words to yourself. I'm still going to be your brother, and I'm still going to love you. But you keep all them dead words when it comes to your religious ideology. You keep that to yourself. You tell me you want to be a sister chasing after God's heart, and you still ain't mustered up the strength to fight against the spirit that's overpowering you to lead a man in a fornication. Keep your words to yourself. Because some sisters and some brothers are going to have to stand up and be the example. Somebody is going to have to be the example of the new normal, which really is not new, but old. Somebody gonna have to do it. All the wonderful things in this world that were created for men and women to do were created for men and women to do together. And now you got everything that men and women do is single. You don't see married couples at the night places out dancing, out enjoying themselves, out loving on each other. You don't see it. They don't come out. You see nothing but single people. Looking for the next bed to climb in. Then you got married people that when they do come out, they can't even come out and enjoy themselves because they constantly got somebody else trying to hit on them. You know this is my wife. You ain't got to be coming up, running up in my face, looking at me with twinkles in your eyes, calling me names. You ain't got to be doing that. It's a disrespect. You can't get it off because I'm not that type of dude. And it's not that I'm a weak man or a man that's just, I feel the same things. But what I'm fighting for is far greater. I have far more to lose. Tell me, anybody that's on this thread, if it ever came to social media that I've fallen down and went into an adulterous affair on my wife, tell me how you'll view me then. Tell me how you'll view me then. What kind of feedback would I get then? I bet you the so-called elder would be the subject matter of all the people on social media and YouTube. The subject matter. Oh, I told you he wasn't this. Oh, I told you he wasn't that. Oh, I knew he was this. Oh, and look at him. Look at all the marriages that he done done. Look at him. Now he the one out there cheating on his wife. God dang it. It's got to be something greater to fight for in this world. I'm a sacrifice All of the man hours that have went into laboring, into the, no, I'm not perfect. But me not being perfect ain't no excuse. I'm going to fall down, but I'm going to fall down in the areas of life that have an effect on me and only me. Oh yeah, I fall down. If I fall down, I might get drunk, but I'm the only one gonna end up with a hangover. It ain't gonna affect my wife, and it ain't gonna affect you, but I'm not falling down in no area that stands to destroy somebody else. For what? For a wet butt of a woman that probably got 25 bodies stacked on top of her before me? I'm going to fall for that? You going to fall for what? That's what you're going to fall for? That's what you're going to fall for? And then you're going to jump up and be a man with status, a man that everybody respect. Well, that's what it is. Because the world have respect for its own. Because 9 out of 10 times of the people that's in that condition are walking in wickedness anyway. Well, I ain't no respecter, no man's person. And I call it like I see it. And that ain't saying nothing bad about nobody. Because everybody is weak in some areas. But brothers, I'm telling you, if you weak in this area of fornication, it's no wonder why you can't get a woman. Because you following after a woman right out the gate. And if you'll follow her into her bedroom, then guess what? You'll be following around everywhere else for the rest of your life. So anybody got anything they want to say? Anybody got anything they want to jump in there with? Do I got any married couples on the line? If you're a married couple, you're on the line, put a 7 up in there. You see? And I can't believe, it's amazing how many people out here want to destroy marriages. They want to destroy marriages. And they don't physically say that they want to destroy marriages with their mouth, but they want to destroy marriages by trying to entice married couples to do things outside of their marriage. What they don't understand is that the destruction that they're seeking to do is that they're directly doing this against the one that created the marital union. Got something for you. Yeah. So we might as well just deal with it. Go on in there. Go on in there and deal with it. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 20. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 20. Look at this. So this challenge you brothers and sisters, okay? Let me show you something. An adulterous woman is one who commits the act of fornicating outside of her marriage. But let me show you something. You got to understand that everything that we do when it's dealing with marriage, whether it's us pertaining with our marriages that's connected, or whether it's the things pertaining to what's happening outside of a marriage, anything that happens where marriage is concerned is directly you fighting against the Most High. The fun boys and fun girls that's trying to be married up, they fighting against the Most High. They're fighting a losing battle. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 20. Listen at this. For such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eats and wipes her mouth and said, I have done no wickedness. Because one of the things that sisters have a habit of doing is trying to justify their actions. We have many sisters out here that have stepped outside of their marriage, that have cheated on their husbands. If you go on YouTube, you go on Instagram, you can find it all day long. Husbands coming home to find their wives cheating. Husbands catching their wives on ring cameras and all of that, bringing other men into the house while they are working. Just seen one last night where a brother forgot something and had to come back to his house, and when he did get there, he happened to see on his camera his wife and his brother outside on the patio in the pool that he was paying for, in the house that he had bought, and everything that he had done for this woman. And while he is out working, she's about to have sex with his brother. And it would have went down like that, but he didn't want to see it to go that far. So she went as far as to start pulling off her clothes before he came and interrupted. But if he stood around, he was going to watch his oldest brother manhandling and blowing the back and guts out of his wife that he worked so hard for, diligently, to take care of. And what you think the wife have to say about it? It ain't even like that. It ain't even like that. This is the way of an adulterous woman. She eats, she has sex with another man. You wipe her mouth. Say, I ain't done no wrong. Here you got an adulterous woman that'll put another man's penis in her mouth and let him explode semen all over her face, and then wipe her mouth and look in her husband's face and declare, I've done no wrong. Well, you was working so much. Well, I was lonely. You'll declare I've done no wrong. And what you don't realize is that you ain't done it to your husband. Yes, your husband will be hurt by it. Yes, he gonna agonize by it because he loved you genuinely. But you done it to the Most High. Because in your marriage vow, it was him that your commitment was to. You said that you promised to do these things as long as God helped you. You get to a place where you don't want God's help. You want to do what you want to do. Well, if you wanted to do that, why didn't you just let your husband wake up one morning only to find that all your clothes was gone and your bags was packed and you was gone and you could have lived the life that you wanted to live, but you want to go and have sex with me outside while this man go and break his back to take care of you? And you think God ain't looking at it. Let me tell you something, sister. If you in this position, you better recognize that the Most High see everything that you are doing. See everything you're doing. And you're going to pay for it. It ain't the first time that we've seen it happen. So the brother's like, you know what? I just paid for my brother's plane fare and brought him from where he's at up to here. You know what I'm saying? And I got my big brother here. And now you're going to come into my house and do this and take advantage of my wife? Yeah. That's for the sisters, but I got something for the brothers too. I got something for the brothers too, because these brothers think they slick too. I got something for the brothers too. Yep. Got something for you brothers too. Because we're rot gut people, man. We're rot gut, grimy, greedy people. And we got to some point come face to face with the fact that we are a rot gut, trifling, grimy people that's cloaked in religion. God sees us. And we need to start seeing ourselves like God sees us. We need to start seeing ourselves like God sees us. And when we start dealing with this word, we are showing you how God sees us. The problem is that we don't want to look at it. We don't want to see what God sees. Oh, we want to see what our boys see. Oh man, he cool. Oh, he cool. Oh man, he a hustler. Oh man, he a gangster. Oh, we want to see that. But we don't want to see what God sees. Let's see if you can look at yourself like God sees you. And if you can't, even if you can't, you're still going to be convicted by this word. Come on, this for my brothers right here. We got some grimy women out there. They'll cheat on their husband in a minute with another man. Husband going to work every day, producing cars, money, financial establishment, all of that. And you going lay down with a grimy Jew that ain't even got a car. Okay, we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 23. Ecclesiasticus chapter 23. Ecclesiasticus chapter 23. We're going to go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 23. And watch this. Y'all can talk to y'all turn blue in the face, but all these things are in the holy books that y'all say. And what is it with us that we tear pages out of books? Certain things we gravitate toward, certain things we don't want to deal with. But this is the most important thing. If you can't deal with marriage, then you can't deal with procreation and the first commandment that was given to be fruitful and multiply. Come on, brothers. Here we go. This is for you brothers. This is for you brothers. Verse 17, all bread is sweet to a whoremonger, and he will not leave off until he die. See, a whoremonger is one that refuses commitment of marriage. Only thing he want to do is hop from bed to bed. He said, so all bread is sweet. He don't care who he lay down with. Sister, you got to understand, this dude don't care who he lay down with. He'll lay down with you. He'll lay down with your sister. Some brothers have even been known to lay down with the sister and the mama. And brothers don't care. A whoremonger don't care. He'll lay down with anybody, any woman that will open her legs to him. And he will not stop fornicating until he dies. Brother, you understand, if you got this mindset, the handwriting is on the wall for your life. The handwriting is already on the wall. All bread is sweet to a fornicator, to a whoremonger, and he will not leave it alone until he dies. You still got men 60 years old in the club trying to entice the 25, 30-year-old women. 60 years old, 65 years old, pocket full of Viagra, still looking to fornicate. Got 10 children, ain't took care of none of them. Still in the club, looking for somebody to fornicate. Barely can get around. He ain't gonna leave off until he dies. Anybody out there know any men in your life like that? Men, grown men, should be set and educating young men. Still sitting at the bar, talking about women, what they gonna do to a woman, what young girl they like. Still can get on their phone, which they barely know how to work, and pull up pictures of girls. Y'all know anybody like that? Well, they ain't gonna stop until they die. A man that breaks wedlock, saying this in his heart, who sees me? I am surrounded by darkness, and the walls hide me. Nobody sees me. What need do I have to fear? The Most High will not remember my sins. Here's the sick, twisted mindset of many of our brothers. The one that breaks wedlock, the one that cheats on his wife. Man, I'm out here in the dark. Can't nobody see me. My wife think I'm somewhere else. She don't know what I'm doing. Ain't nobody here but me and the girl. These four walls gonna hide me. Nobody can even see my car. It's parked 2 blocks away. I trucked over here. He said, these 4 walls can hide me. What need do I have to fear? That God ain't going to remember it. He ain't going to remember this sin right here. This is the sick, twisted mind of a man that cheats on his wife and a man that tries to break the wedlock by cheating with another man's wife. This is his mindset. Oh, the dude don't know about it. He at work. He can't see me. We way over here in Kansas. Don't nobody know we here. We in a hotel. Ain't nobody see me. I can get butt naked. Ain't nobody around here. But then some type of conviction comes. You start thinking. Think about God. The Most High, he ain't even going to remember my sin. Listen at this. Verse 19. Such a man only fears the eyes of men, and he knows not that the eyes of God are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering their most secret parts. He said this type of dude, he's only concerned about individual sin. He's only concerned about one of his wife's friends seeing him going back in jail. He only concerned about a friend of the husband of the wife seeing him. He only concerned about that. He ain't concerned about the main thing. The one that created marriage. The one that created marriage. Just think God creates something and you trifling on it and you trying to destroy something that God created to be good in this world. He say, this type of man, he only fears what other people see. And he say, these 4 walls gonna hide me and I'm in the dark and can't nobody see me. But what this man don't know is that the eyes of God are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, able to see a man, any physical where that he is, and able to see everything that's in his heart, every single thought, every intent, every motive, every secret thing about the individual. The Most High is able to see. Brother, let me tell you something. If you're a brother out there and you breaking wedlock, you cheating on your wife, or your brother out there and you secretly trying to hit on another man's wife, baby, you have set yourself up for God's hammer of judgment. And God's eyes can see it. And God will lead a husband right to you because he knows where you at. Let me read that again for y'all. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not stop until he dead. He ain't gonna stop until he's dead. That means that he gonna die a whoremonger and go straight to hell because he was fighting against God's righteous institution in the earth. A man that breaks wedlock, a man that destroys a marriage, whether it be a husband cheating on a wife or whether it be a man, an outside man cheating with another man's wife. He that destroys a marriage says in his heart, nobody sees me. I'm in the dark. And these walls of this hotel room cover me. Nobody sees me. I don't have no reason to be afraid. God will not remember my sin. This type of man only fears the eyes of men, and he knows not that the eyes of God are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men. So God see everything that you do. And you know how you know that God see you is because you wake up with conviction. And if you're cheating like that, you don't have do you have any idea how many men have been murdered from tampering or breaking another man's wedlock, messing up another man's marriage? Do you have any idea how many men have been murdered? Do you know how many women have been murdered and destroyed for breaking up another woman's marriage? And it's God that's at the center of the destruction that's going to come into your life because you are tampering with the institution that he created to exemplify his righteousness in this world. And anybody on this thread that has a problem with being committed to somebody and have a problem with marriage, then you have a problem with the one that created it. So, you know, we got to do better. We got to do better, people. We got to do better. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to matter is how God felt about a situation. It's not going to matter about how the individual felt. How do God feel about what I'm doing? How do God feel about where I'm at? How do God feel about me being hooked up with somebody that does not want no commitment with me? How do I feel about being hooked up with somebody that had me in an ongoing, continuous, adulterous situation against God? How does God feel about that? How does God feel about me being the one that's responsible for the destruction of somebody else's marriage? How does God feel about me being wrapped up right there in the middle of destroying what he created to be sacred? See, we got to get out of this fear in the eyes of men and caring about what people think. We better start caring about our soul's welfare and how God feels about it. So, like I say, peace and blessings be upon all of you on this afternoon. This is indeed a great day to be alive. The day the Most High Heavenly Father have made. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. And I assure that you guys will do the same. Peace and blessings on all of you.